Hello. I thought I'd do a demo or a little playthrough of Democracy 3. This can be played in Firefox in the browser directly, or as I'm playing it, through the Steam interface. And I've played a couple of practice games to see what it's like. I'm no expert. I just thought I'd give a playthrough. I know there's lots of people online who like to play games and show how great they are at them, but I think that's not my point here. I'm just here to give you an overview of what it is and how it works, basically, roughly. I don't know how to win this game. I haven't won any games at it. I'll talk about that as we go through, but basically you are elected the leader of some country, and in a democracy, of what passes for a democracy anyway in our modern world. So there are some options. Doesn't tell me anything really, does it? Am I able to hover my mouse over an icon? Well, nothing there, is there? So I don't know what that's for. There are mods which you can add. I have downloaded all the mods, sorry. So they are running. Don't know what effect they will have, because I've never played it without them. Let's just start, shall we? You would have thought the options would include... Oh, here we go. I must have clicked the wrong thing. I've turned the music down because YouTube doesn't like it. I can only record... it only has 1280 by 768 as the closest to the YouTube format, so the top and bottom are being slightly clipped to get the right aspect ratio on the screen, so I might move it up or down a bit when necessary. But we'll see how it goes. New game. You can play one of various countries: the UK, France, Germany, United States, Canada, Australia. I'm going to start with the UK because in the two games I practiced, it seemed fairly good consumption. Sorry, I'm looking at this tea consumption here. It was a fairly good simulation of UK politics, actually. And I don't know what the others are like. Maybe I'll try them sometime. Let's just go. The party names are irrelevant. It bears no relevance to anything. So you can just choose anybody you want. I don't know. Let's say the opposition is the National Unity Party. They're all the same. We live in a constitutional monarchy in Britain, and we don't tend to have much in the way of hurricanes and earthquakes. Well, and these figures, I guess, are roughly what they're like in Britain. I don't know. We'll just have a go and see. And I don't know if liberalism is the UK version or Victorian version of liberalism or the American version either. No idea. Let's just go. Now, let's start then. Click. Whoosh. And I have become Prime Minister. Hooray! And GDP is low. Unemployment is high. These are sort of not great, but okay. I've had difficulty with raising GDP in previous games. And look at what we've got. This is a summary of your population. You will see that the majority of them are socialist. When you point at it, things which affect them positively or negatively, green or red respectively, which is a bit of a pain if you've got green-red colour blindness or something, but things which improve your electability with that constituency are shown in green. So I'm going to have to raise and lower the screen a bit, probably, for some of these things to be visible. But anyway, you can look at any group that you want. The wealthy, they want... Off the bottom of the screen we have capital gains tax, the health service, capital gains tax, property tax and corporation tax. I'll probably just move the screen down for you so we can see those things, and we'll look at the icons at the top in a bit when I use them. But what happens is the policies that you can affect things with are the white ones. The actual results are the blue ones, and the red ones I think are bad news for you generally. So I'm not popular with middle income people by the looks of it, nor with trade unionists, nor with capitalists. However, the majority of my voters are socialists. Now, I've tried in previous games to do the right thing and do what I think is best for the economy. But the result is everybody hates me and I lose the election. So there you go. So I want to try and raise GDP. Okay, so I point at that and I look at the things that affect it and try and figure out what on earth I can do. See, increasing taxes on the whole appears to reduce GDP. Crime, it says, reduces GDP, although presumably there can be some turnover from that. Science funding is good for GDP. Having an uncompetitive economy is bad for it, and so on. So you see, so I might try and increase science funding. But if I look at my money here at the top, I've only got a few billion to spare really, but let's go for it. What I do, I find science funding and I click on it, hooray, and I can raise it or lower it, and it takes some political capital to do so. I start with 26 units of political capital. That's how much leverage I've got with the electorate or my ministers. And when I move this slider, the cost will go up and the effects will show up here. So I've got a couple of billion to spare perhaps, so let's go and try and raise it up to say 8.5 billion. It's a little bit extra, and you'll see it'll improve that, make it less bad. To me, is that making it more bad? It's good for GDP, which is what my actual aim was. But spending more on science is probably not... it's making it worse for technology backwater, which means it's improving technology. Right, that one you see has gone up. Okay. So overall, good effects. I've spent a couple of billion, so apply the changes. Yes. There we go. I've only got 20 units of political capital left, and I don't know what to do, but there might be some ideas that are popular with my constituencies. They want me to raise income tax, these socialist public. The thing about the public being socialist is that they want things which give them benefits. I'm not quite sure why income tax is good for them. Capital gains tax they will like, because it soaks the rich, as they see it. But anyway, there are various icons up here. I can have a security briefing, see if any of these groups are up to anything. I have some money, percentages of people who are doing stuff. I don't know what. Look at ethnic minorities and I can see what influences them directly. I can also look at a focus group of lots of people and see why each individual has, or what kind of opinions they have. It's a lot of data. I can look at what policies are in place at the moment and how popular they are. So unpopular ones, taxes and things of that sort. And more popular ones at the top. So I could look at some of these. And I have no political compass. This is my default starting position as some sort of, I don't know, socialist liberal, it seems. We can see what sort of policy ideas that we can have that might give us some things to do, some new ideas. Is there something I can do on tax? I don't know. Is there something I can do to improve the economy, for goodness sake? GDP is terrible. Consumer rights, I don't know that that will improve much. I'm looking for things that improves my potential income, I suppose. Small business grants, that should improve the economy, shouldn't it? Let's go for it. A couple of 100 million. Bang. And it's free to do it. Oh, but it costs 5 billion a quarter. I've got to be careful. Alright. And I think I'm going to be overspending now. I'll have a negative GDP. This is always the problem. You can try and do things and well, you just spend money. Well, I'm not going to do any more. But let's look and see what other things we've got. I have no achievements. I haven't achieved anything yet. I can implement a police state. Lovely. I can talk to my ministers and have a look at them anyway and sack them. Or I can reshuffle them, which is not so drastic. They have various levels of loyalty and experience, which gives you an idea of their effectiveness. And depending on what I do and what they like, their loyalty will change, and I may have to end up sacking them or having them resign. There are options which I've already looked at, and this quarterly review, I haven't been in power for a quarter yet, so let's have the next quarter. And you click again to return to government. Whoosh, and we're back. Looks to me like GDP is a bit better. I have an urgent policy question. Debt protection. Debt collection agencies are being unscrupulous. Do we control them, or do we say nobody forces people to borrow money they can't repay? Well, I'm going to control them. It'll be popular with my constituency. As I say, I found that trying to do good things for the economy tends actually to be a bit unpopular, and this is one of the perennial problems with democracy, is that the majority of people vote in a purely selfish way, as we have all been encouraged to do by this system, but they don't vote in what is, if you like, an ethical way, what's best for society as a whole, on average. So this is why our societies are probably in terminal decline, and democracy will not be stable as a government system, probably. Unless the franchise can be reduced so that people who do vote ethically are the ones that actually get to vote, but I don't know how you could possibly do that without a major crisis, or how you could measure it. It's all a bit of a problem, and that's for the future. Oh, we've got a security briefing. The Human Rights Society doesn't like me much now. Naughty people. And you see, I'm just in black. If let's get some figures up, let's see if I can see anything. Changes, what should I do? GDP down a bit, tourism down a bit. Lovely. Is there anything else I can look at in this graph? Not really. This is a more interesting graph. Look at my expenditure. See, it's mostly pensions. Look at my income, mostly income tax. And general charts, you can see the global economy is going down. My GDP, gross domestic product, your economic strength basically, going down. Expenditure going up. Debt going down but marginally. If I spend any more money without improving GDP, where is it? There. I'm going to be in trouble in the long term. But I've got to do stuff. That's what I'm in power for. And unemployment was another problem, wasn't it? And unemployment, of course, is bad for GDP if there's lots of it. There's unemployment. So, what can I do? I want things that are bad for unemployment, so I'm looking for the red lines, basically. I don't quite understand why GDP is showing a green line towards unemployment. As unemployment goes up, crime goes up, you can see that over here. Unemployment benefit is good for unemployment. It encourages people to remain unemployed, I suppose, is the point. So I need to do something to reduce unemployment. But all of these things involve spending money, basically. And I want something which is going to work in the short term as well, actually. So let's unpopularly cut unemployment benefit a bit. I need 12 political capital, I have that. This is going to be very unpopular, but I need the money. Now I can use that money to do something to actually give people jobs, maybe. And if some of those things are also good for my prime constituency, maybe that will be good. I can't see anything specifically which is offhand. Let's try some agricultural subsidies. Raise it a little bit. Not particularly popular with voters, but it's good for reducing unemployment. Where was it? 5.5, so let's go to about 6.5, shall we? And something else. Bit of road building, maybe? I don't have political capital enough for it. I only have 15 left. What about rail subsidies? I can do that a bit. Just up it by 1 billion or so, something like that. Okay. And I don't want to spend too much more money, so let's go to the next quarter. See if anything's happened. Some of these things take a few quarters to start operating, especially if your minister is inefficient or inexperienced. The blue circle keeps going, but as soon as this comes, you can click on it. Oh, urgent policy decision. These are a bit of fun. We will allow a corporate entity to be prosecuted for manslaughter when they're being found guilty of negligence. Unenforceable, expensive waste of time. I think let's go for it. Getting 50% of the vote, that's alright. Indifferent, it says. Well, fine. My cabinet is okay. Budget has a small surplus. Let's see. GDP is still going down, but then the global economy is going down. I don't really know how I can get around that. This is a problem that politicians have, of course, when recessions hit. My expenditure is down a bit. My debt is fairly steady, but GDP is still going down. I've got to be a bit careful. But at least I still have a small budget surplus. Now, pensions were a big expense. Again, I may have to be unpopular, but they're only a small part of the constituency. And reduce pensions. So, this is very, hard to do politically. To lower it, I need 26 political capital. I can do it. I can do it. Ho, 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 ho. Those naughty pensioners, those poor pensioners, they're going to go. Right, there we go. I've given myself £6 billion. They are not going to like that. Whether I'll win the next election, I don't know. But I've got to do something to improve GDP. It's going down. We've got to get money into the economy. Got to get the economy going. The green things are good. What will be the best? I've already done rail subsidies. Productivity. Labour laws are neutral on productivity. Legal drug consumption might affect productivity in some way. Unpredictable. I don't know what the black lines mean. That there aren't direct policy decisions other than labour laws which could have any effect, really. Productivity. Reduce unemployment. Improve industrial automation, which of course will be bad for unemployment, presumably. Very difficult. Education, but it's very long term, An asthma epidemic. Right. What's this? There is an asthma epidemic. So I can try and fix the environment with pollution controls and clean energy subsidies. Oh dear. What are we on? 2, so let's go up to about 3 billion is. And pollution controls. I don't know how effective these will be. The capitalist voters and so on don't like them, but if it's bad for GDP, this is, okay, millions. We're not spending much. Uncompetitive economy. Corporation tax is on the high side. I'll have to knock $1 billion off my income then. Well, more than that, okay. Hardly any, right? 18, 9, I can't do it, I don't have the capital. Okay. I only have one, it's time for the next turn. So you see how this game goes? It just carries on like that till the next election, basically. Now, how have I done? There is a stress epidemic. Credit rating downgraded, well, my GDP is falling. Stress for people in jobs? Long working hours, tut tut. Credit rating downgraded? Nothing I can do about that, frankly, that I know of. Let's have a look at the budget then. Debt is not going up, fantastic. GDP, oh, still plummeting, but this is plummeting. It's not plummeting as steep, well maybe it is. I think I'm doing the right things, but it's going to be unpopular with the electorate, obviously. I'll have to have good propaganda. Now I want to go back to improving GDP somehow, because productivity is crucial. They've moved around these icons now. I'm going to have to... Well, people are just going to have to cope with stress, aren't they? What's this alcohol law? Oh, minimum age limits. Alcohol tax. We raise money from that, don't we? Hits the poor the most, of course, as usual. But they're a small part of my constituency compared with, I'm afraid, these guys, and even motorists. I should perhaps do something to boost the motorists. Road building is bad for unemployment after all. So let's do some expansion. $3 billion. Okay, that's probably all I can afford. Oh, there's some awesome policy ideas for the economy. Well, this might be popular. Worker safety law. It's not very expensive. Let's go for it. Any other ideas? Anything I can do? I don't have much political capital left, that's why they're turning red. Right, that's pretty much it. Next quarter then. Let's hope the money starts turning around. Pensioners must hate me. Now when this blue circle is irrelevant, it's not any process anymore, so just click. Ooh, GM food. Allow GM crops. Agricultural companies are interested in growing GM food on our soil. Some food can be genetically manipulated. Yes. Opponents are concerned about the risks. GM crops have huge potential benefits. There is no need for it. Benefits are great for producers but not for consumers. We don't know enough about the long-term effects of it. Environmentalists won't like me doing this. Capitalists will like it, and we need the money. Go. Alright. Global economy is doing okay. Yeah, really? Oh, my GDP is starting to turn around a bit. Excellent. Income is down though, expenditure is up. Oops, I've overspent a bit. Debt is going to go up soon. You see how my income is 10 billion less than my expenditure. I've got to do something about that. It's probably because I reduced corporation tax, but that's good for GDP, which is my real target, is to get that number up somehow. Well, I'm going to stop this recording here. This is part 1, and we'll see what I do about it in part 2. Bye for now.